The solution actually lies in empowerment. That sounds a little cliche, but hear me out. Here's the thing is, everybody loves superheroes. And everybody doesn't just love superheroes. We want to be a superhero, right? And so the answer lies in becoming a superhero. But, there is a but, that's really hard for us to do for ourselves. It's really hard for me to be able to enter a frame of mind where I can believe I can be a superhero, right? I can make pretend, which is honestly the first step. It's very beneficial. But that's usually as far as we can get, is just imagining ourselves as the superhero. That's usually as far as we're able to take ourselves, right? We can watch a video and put ourselves in that position and be like, I want to be like that person. I could see myself doing those things. But then we kind of get stuck, right? But there's a trick. There's a trick, and there's a way to help become a superhero. And that is by showing others how to do that, right? By empowering others to become a superhero. And this is one of my favorite things to tell, well, anybody in any sort of relationship, to be honest. Anybody who feels that there's a two-way dynamic between them and someone else, right? So this is a great message for parents. This is a great message for people with a significant other, a husband, a wife, a boyfriend, a girlfriend. This is family, right? Your parents, your siblings, any of those types of people. This is it. We are here to give. And part of that giving process is to help, right? A lot of times, the way we give to others is through helping them. And here's what you can do, is you can empower people. You can empower people to be the superhero. And that sounds ridiculous, and it sounds tough, but it's actually a lot easier than it is for me or you to step into that role yourself without someone else doing it, right? Because often you walk down the street and someone says, you look really good today. And all of a sudden, you believe you look really good today, right? You left your house looking like you did when you ran into that person, but it wasn't until someone else said it that you actually believed it. You just needed that exterior validation, that exterior affirmation. Better word, affirmation. So the same thing applies with helping people step into an empowering role of their own superhero. Because ultimately that's what we want to do, right? Just like we look at superheroes and say, wow, I want to be like them, that's because we want to, deep inside, whether we know this or not, we want to be our own heroes. But because we don't know how to, because we don't know how to step into that role, what we end up doing is looking for others to do that. And so ultimately our jobs as parents, friends, partners, husbands, wives, siblings, even children, is to not be the superhero for someone else, but show them that they can be the superhero for themselves. That is the solution. We encounter a lot of people, and I say we because I really mean we. I have encountered a lot of people, and I'll bet you encounter a lot of people who are really struggling with some sort of challenge. More often than not, it's depression. And depression is the big label, right? It encompasses so many things. Depression encompasses a numerous amount of smaller categories, whatever those might be. If someone's suicidal, it usually starts as depression. If someone's fearful, oftentimes it turns into depression. A lot of our problems can be categorized as a whole under depression. And so when we're in depression, it's hard to know what specifically that person is struggling with. But the answer lies in showing them that they have the power. If we give them that little reminder that often they can't give themselves, they have the power to step out of depression. Whatever it is that they're encountering in that depressed state. So empowerment. What does that look like? How do we do that? Why is that good? Well, the first thing to understand is empowerment is a position of creation. To be able to empower someone or to empower ourselves is to step into the role we were meant to be in as a creator in our own lives, as a creator in the world, and ultimately helping others to step into their proper role as a creator in their lives too. So, I had a thought, but first, let's continue to dive into this. Like I mentioned, we know a lot of people who are in a place of depression. And oftentimes, our instinct is to help. But we don't help in the right way, in the appropriate way. We tell them what to do. We tell them what they should do. We tell them, we force our own beliefs upon people in these moments often. And more often than not, we do that out of fear or out of some other improper emotion that we shouldn't be doing it out of, or drive that we shouldn't be doing it out of, rather. Right? Because if someone is important to you and they're struggling, oftentimes you're worried about that. You're in a place of wanting to help, but because you're letting their situation impact you, and I don't at all downplay that, it's hard not to let that situation impact you when it's someone of importance to you, we end up trying to solve their problem for us rather than solving their problem for them. And that doesn't help. That actually breaks apart the connection that these people are often looking for. Our friends, our family are often looking for, right? Because in those moments they do want help, but they want to be empowered to help themselves. But when we make it about our feelings, our fears and worries, the help we offer actually has a small taintedness to it. It's slightly selfish. And that's something that on a very spiritual level, they can feel. And so they often reject our help. We say, I know what's best for you because I'm your parent. I know what's best for you because I'm your partner. I know what's best for you because, whatever reason, fill in the blank. So we force our ideas, and more often than not, those ideas are not coming from a place of love. They're coming from a place of our own insecurities and fears. And we have to be very careful not to let that happen, because that disrupts the connection we have with that person and the opportunity we have to actually help them. But like I said in the beginning, the help we're going to offer them, the help we want to offer them, the help they don't know they can't wait to receive, is empowerment. That is the solution. So what does that look like? How do we empower someone? Well, what does it mean to empower? Ultimately, to empower someone is to give them the power, give them the control. When you're empowering someone, you're allowing them to realize they have choice. They have choice because they have the ability to take an action and to choose. So that's what we want to enable, is we want them to come to a realization from a place of love on our part, and not fear, not insecurity, not worry, right? Complete openness on our part. And then we move into action, into helping them by bringing them to a place of empowerment, which means a place of helping them realize lovingly that they have options, they have choice, that the situation is in their hands. They have control. This is what we want more often than not as humans. All we can think is, if only I could change this, if only I had control. That's probably what that loved one you're thinking about right now is saying. If only I could do something about this. That's our chance. That's our opportunity, is to say, you can. You can do something about this. You can do something about this right now. You can do whatever you want about this, and you can do something about it that you actually want to do about it. Many times those people, our friends, our family, our partners, are sitting there thinking, the only options I have are A, B, and C, and they're all negative options, right? Hurting ourselves, continuing to exist in depression, remaining stuck, hurting others. Our job is to help them realize that they have choice, and that choice includes reaching the thing they actually want to do. Often, people who are experiencing these kinds of situations, depression of any sort, whether it's wanting to hurt others, resenting others, feeling hatred, a lack of love, feeling disconnected, feeling alone, hurting ourselves, being angry, what they really want is they want the opposite of all those things. The opposite of all those things could be encompassed by the word love, right? Love encompasses a lot of things: connection, meaningfulness, purpose, all sorts of things that actually benefit the world. So what we want to do is to empower our loved ones to look for the meaning that they want in their life and then go pursue it. Somewhere in there, more often than not, tied to that meaning is love. But ultimately, there's something of importance that they're looking for in this moment of depression that they don't feel they have. And when they don't feel they have that, they end up doing one of these other things, coming into a place of depression, and focusing on, wallowing there, focusing on self-pity, focusing on resentment, focusing on the harm they can do to another person or themselves or some other object, focusing on how life isn't fair, their hardships, something negative. But again, ultimately, what we want to do is remind them what they're really seeking. Help them to become clear on what they're really looking for. Sometimes listening is the solution to that too, but help them become clear on what they're really looking for, and then empower them to go pursue that. So, this is my challenge to you. Whoever it is in your life who exists in some state of negative energy, most likely depression, but not necessarily, in some category that falls under depression, whether it's self-harm, harm to another, negative emotions like anger and resentment, feeling like the world is out to get you, any of those categories or more that falls under and often brings about a state of depression, to ask them, well, first ask ourselves, why are they there? But then not to answer the question for them, and rather seek to have them look for the answer. What is it that has brought you to this state because of the absence of in your life? What is it that you wanted that because you don't feel you have has brought you to this state? And then, right back to where we started from, full circle, we step into empowering them. We say, the power is in your hands. You have choice. You have choice. You have control. You have options. Take that, do something with it. Create what it is you're looking for.